NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw.
Good evening. This could be the smoking manifesto. There's a major development tonight in the Unabomber investigation. Law enforcement sources say they have found what could be the crucial link between their suspect and the worst string of serial bombings ever in this country. Here's NBC's Pete Williams.
Adding another major piece of evidence to their case, federal law enforcement officials tell NBC News that investigators have found what they believe to be the original Unabomber manifesto in Theodore Kaczynski's Montana cabin. That'll be added to the truckload of evidence carted off from the cabin today, bound for an FBI crime laboratory to be compared with a carefully cataloged list of evidence, every scrap that's been gathered over 17 years of Unabomber attacks. A former FBI agent who was in charge of the case for 11 of those years says most of the bombs were ripped apart when they went off, but prosecutors will have plenty to go on from the pieces.
It sounds like a treasure trove so far of evidence that can be used to link the suspect forensically to the devices and ultimately to the crimes.
So far, Theodore Kaczynski has been charged with only one crime, illegally making a bomb. But prosecutors have no doubt he's the Unabomber suspect. In court documents filed late yesterday, they say the case they're building against him involves events that occurred in locations around the country, a case that has generated numerous leads nationwide. And the Justice Department has appointed a leader for the team that will prosecute Kaczynski. Robert Cleary, now a federal prosecutor in the busy New Jersey district, who specialized in complicated white-collar fraud cases. He's familiar with the Unabomber case. The manifesto added to the finished and ready-to-mail bomb already found give prosecutors their strongest links yet tying Theodore Kaczynski to the Unabomber crimes. Pete Williams, NBC News, Washington.
Now to the Jessica Dubroff case. While many in America tonight remain haunted and deeply troubled by the death of 7-year-old Jessica, her father, and flight trainer in the crash of their light plane in Wyoming, Jessica's mother has her own reaction. She went to the crash site in Cheyenne today, where the investigation still is underway, and tonight we have two reports. We'll begin with NBC's Roger O'Neill.
As investigators began examining the wreckage of the small plane, they said they may never know if the little girl or her flight instructor was at the controls of the Cessna. But this morning, the man who watched 7-year-old Jessica Dubroff, her father, and the instructor die in the crash, Tom Johnson, told her mother, Lisa, it was over quickly.
There was no pain, there was no suffering. It was God's will, and it was...
Seems like it must have taken a long time.
No, it didn't. It did not take a long time. It was very short.
Johnson said as the plane struggled to take off in rain, wind, and sleet, it looked like a crippled animal.
Josh and Jasmine, I have something I want us to do.
In a bizarre and emotional scene this morning, as the mother brought Jessica's 3-year-old sister and 9-year-old brother to the crash site, where a memorial of flowers and teddy bears left by strangers saddened by the tragedy has been built, Lisa Blair Hathaway staunchly defended her daughter's dream to fly.
She had room to be, she had room to choose, she had room to have her life.
As flags were lowered to half-staff today at the Cheyenne airport, people continue to struggle with the question, why did the plane take off in such bad weather? The pilot of a commuter plane, scheduled to take off right after Jessica's plane left, delayed. The thunderstorm was too severe. At an elementary school in Cheyenne today, Sandy Waskey's 5th graders, who were learning about following dreams, instead had to talk about coping with death. From Tyson.
I felt as if I was feeling her pain. I can only imagine what it was like being in that plane when it was about to hit the ground.
And from 11-year-old Raquel.
She was so young and still had a life to live. I was sad.
Jessica's body will be flown to California tomorrow for burial. Her mother's wish is that people remember the little pilot for her joy of life, even if they question whether a 7-year-old should have been at the controls of an airplane. Roger O'Neill, NBC News, Cheyenne.
This is Robert Hager in Washington. Investigators now say the plane was overweight, over its 2,500-pound limit. After the already shaky takeoff, reports of the plane bobbing up and down, what's called porpoising, then starting to turn, pitching nose up, and suddenly falling, are all classic signs of a loss of airlift, what pilots call a stall. This particular model of plane, the Cessna Cardinal, is known to handle sensitively on takeoff. The Aviation Consumer, a guide to buying planes, confirms it has pitch sensitivity and porpoising tendencies and warns pilots to be careful about weight loads. Investigators say most of that excess weight was from personal luggage aboard. It would have made the takeoff even more difficult in the thin atmosphere of high-altitude Cheyenne. Sensitive plane to handle on takeoff, overweight in thin atmosphere, and in bad weather. There were reports of wind shear in the area. That and a 7-year-old sharing controls with her instructor. Congressman John Duncan, chairman of the House Aviation Subcommittee.
I think it's almost criminal in the circumstances in which it was done because, I mean, this was basically done for a publicity stunt. I don't think that 7-year-olds should be flying airplanes.
Especially, Duncan says, since young people must be more than twice that age to drive a car. The congressman says either the Federal Aviation Administration should change the rules to prevent flying by young people, or Congress should pass a law against it. Robert Hager, NBC News, Washington.
As for Jessica's California hometown, it is a community in shock tonight. This, after all, is not how the trip was supposed to end. NBC's George Lewis is there.
The symbols of sympathy for Jessica are everywhere here, at a community flagpole in her hometown of Pescadero, outside the house where she lived with her mother, her brother, and her sister, and in nearby Half Moon Bay at the airport where she learned to fly. Local florist shops say the orders for flowers have been coming in from all over the country, and the Pescadero post office is filling up with cards and letters from well-wishers.
Everybody's upset because, Jessica was definitely a star of the community down here.
Yeah.
They remember Jessica as a bright, spunky kid who did not have the word fear in her vocabulary.
Nothing's gonna happen. It's simply an airplane.
People didn't know her family that well, say Jessica's mother marches to the beat of a different drummer. And there is the controversy, the questions about sending a kid like this up in a plane like that. But people who saw her fly were impressed.
She was good. She looked very good from the ground, and everything I saw that she knew.
What's a kid that young doing that for anyway? To do it. Why does somebody climb a mountain to do it?
At the ranch where Jessica rode horses, she would sometimes do odd jobs to earn a little money. And then, according to townspeople, she'd send that money to an organization helping poor kids in Latin America.
You don't know the effect that one person can have on so many people until something like this happens.
Townspeople were planning a big homecoming for Jessica, a celebration of her record-breaking flight. Now, this place is filled with sorrow instead of celebrating. As this local florist was putting up a balloon bouquet in Jessica's honor, a couple of the balloons broke free and headed skyward. Her friends say Jessica would have liked that. George Lewis, NBC News, Pescadero, California.
The Navy confirmed today that the crash of an F-14 in Nashville earlier this year was the result of pilot error. The Navy says the pilot did a hazardous takeoff, possibly to show off for his parents who were at the airport when the plane crashed. The pilot was killed, another Navy man was killed, and 3 on the ground were killed as well. Still ahead, NBC News in depth tonight, more fallout from the Jessica Dubroff crash and the big issue it raises. How far is too far when parents push their children to achieve?
This is a vehicle to get great exposure and monies and participate in the fame and glory.
Kids and parents with big ambitions, parents pushing too hard. No one knows when to say no. What can be done about it? We'll have some answers in depth. Up next, Israel's vengeance for sneak rocket attacks. Could this ignite a larger war?
Presenting the possibilities of plastics. Plastics help save you from dents and broken bones. It helped protect my patella. They help save energy.
Thin light plastics, fewer trucks, less gas.
They help save you from being scrambled. They help save the soda. They help food stay fresher.
Brussels sprouts?
Plastics can even help save toddlers from trouble.
And this vest helps save my dad's life.
Plastics make it possible.
Choosing the right lenses can be confusing. At LensCrafters, we have these featherweights lenses. They're made of a thin, lightweight material, but they're also tough. Now watch this. People choose lightweight lenses for comfort, but when they're safer, I sleep better.
Available now, only at LensCrafters.
For different people, different one-a-days. Each has essential vitamins, but one adds more of what women need. Another has more for men. And older adults get the extras they need.
For everybody, there's a one-a-day. When the night has come
safe, being secure. It's why more families rely on Buick LeSabre than any other full-size sedan. Peace of mind from LeSabre.
In the Middle East, this was day 2 of the heaviest fighting in more than a decade between Israel and Hezbollah guerrillas backed by Iran and to some degree by Syria. The attacks range from northern Israel up to the Lebanese capital of Beirut and beyond. Today, fears this fighting could spread. NBC's Martin Fletcher tonight.
This is the target through the gun sight of an Israeli attack helicopter over Beirut. Soldiers racing on the ground to their anti-aircraft guns. The guns firing at this helicopter and other Israeli warplanes. But these are not Islamic militants from Hezbollah who have been launching deadly rocket attacks against Israel. These are Syrian soldiers based in Lebanon, and Israel does not want to fight Syria. But the pilot didn't know, and one laser-guided rocket destroyed the Syrian gun, killing 1 Syrian soldier, wounding 9 more. The Israeli Air Force chief said when his warplanes are fired upon, they must hit back. He did not apologize, but said Israel had no fight with Syria. The Israeli strike came in response to this morning's Hezbollah rocket attacks from bases in Lebanon. More than 24 Katyusha rockets wounded half a dozen Israelis. Israel retaliated immediately. First, a warning to Lebanese villagers they should flee, then followed by an artillery attack. Tens of thousands of terrified Lebanese clogged the roads as they fled north towards Beirut. Lebanon's Prime Minister called Israel's attack pointless, saying it would only strengthen the people's support for Hezbollah. But Israel says it has no choice and that it will keep on firing, probably for another week, until the Hezbollah threat is over. Martin Fletcher, NBC News, Tel Aviv.
Back in Washington now, where President Clinton has chosen the man he wants to replace Commerce Secretary Ron Brown, who died in that plane crash last week in Croatia. Mickey Cantor, now the U.S. Trade Representative, a close friend of the president and Ron Brown. Cantor vowed to continue Brown's legacy of aggressively promoting American business interests overseas. Cantor must be confirmed by the U.S. Senate. When we come back, NBC News in depth tonight, more on the Jessica Dubroff crash. A question everyone is asking, is this a case of parents who are pushing their kids much too hard?
Nobody does it like you, the way that you do. Nobody's got the power to please me.
The Hoover Power Drive Cleaner. It's self-propelled forward and back with reversible drive wheels and fingertip control. The self-propelled Hoover Power Drive. It makes the cleaning so effortless, you might say it's child's play.
Hoover, nobody does it like you.
I have always aspired to be a woman of uncompromising taste. So I use Coffee Mate to make my coffee rich and creamy. You wouldn't expect me to compromise, now would you? Coffee Mate. Your coffee never had it so good.
Only the News Channel brings you Sky 8. Because only Sky 8 can bring you stories like these. So turn to the station where the news comes first. Northwest News Channel 8 and Sky 8.
Stay, you try to hide your fear, but you'll be okay, Mom, in your new career. I'll fix your breakfast, maybe you should pour instead. Kellogg's Raisin Bran will start ya 2 scoops ahead.
Nothing gets you ready for a big day like those 2 scoops, only in Kellogg's Raisin Bran.
I remember when it was me, starting out instead. Go get 'em, Mom! You're 2 scoops ahead.
NBC News in depth tonight. We have more on the fatal crash of 7-year-old Jessica Dubroff's light plane and the hard questions that it raises about kids and their parents who are chasing fame or notoriety or money. Is this an example of how parents' dreams and expectations can push the kids way too far? Our in-depth report now from NBC's Bob Fall.
I fly for joy, said the 55-pound pixie who needed a red booster seat just to see out of the window of her Cessna Cardinal.
Well, we have 3-inch extensions, and we have seat cushions.
She's a great aviator. She really handles the plane very well.
And after this, after 3 deaths that could have been avoided, as a country was left muttering how a 7-year-old could be at the controls, a mother was not about to apologize.
Oh, I'd have her do it again
in a second. You have no idea what this meant to Jess.
Around the country, though, lots of mothers could only shake their heads.
I just didn't find it right for the parent to allow the child to take that flight.
I would never let my daughter do something like that.
But time and again, we have seen other parents do something like that. Wanda Holloway, convicted 5 years ago in Texas of hiring someone to kill the cheerleader who aced out her daughter. Brooke Shields' mommy dearest arranged for her daughter to pose buck naked at age 10. Macaulay Culkin's father tried not just to stage manage his son, but the rest of Hollywood. Jennifer Capriati, shoved into the spotlight at 13, burned out just a few years later, could write a book about the pushy parent. Wimbledon champ Steffi Graf, prodded and embarrassed by her father, could write the intro. Mary Pierce's father was so abusive she had to resort to court orders and to bodyguards. Legendary coach Nick Bollettieri, something of a control freak himself, knows how easy it is for parents to rationalize pushing their kids too hard.
Many of them perhaps did not satisfy some of the goals that they wanted, and they also see that this is a vehicle to get great exposure and monies and participate in the fame and glory.
Patty, which one of these is the square root of 8,649?
We chuckle, of course, but we've all met parents like that, and it's still going on. A Lakewood, Ohio couple just put daughter Miranda in Mensa, a group for the super smart. Yes, she's only 2, but her IQ is 175.
We feel that she's very, very special.
And in Michigan, 10-year-old Chirac Shaw, who's already flown cross-country, plans now to fly around the world.
If they have the enthusiasm and also want to fly, they can do it.
The media had a role in all this. No reporter ever urged Jessica to stay home. Today, this cartoon appeared in an Atlanta paper. What fathers should expect their 7-year-olds to fly, it reads. Push them to excel, even go for the gold, but do not, say child psychiatrists, suspend good judgment.
Otherwise, the child in childhood gets lost in the living out of a parental ambition, or in this instance, maybe several people's ambitions.
3 lives wasted trying to break a record. Was it worth it? I'm so grateful she was happy, a mother answered. What more could I ask? Bob Fall, NBC News, Washington.
This footnote, a 10-year-old Massachusetts girl who had been planning to fly across the country with her father and her flight instructor in June, now has put those plans on hold indefinitely in the wake of 7-year-old Jessica Dubroff's crash in Cheyenne. Still ahead tonight, remembering the man who changed the way you live and have fun in cities. He brought back hope to America's cities.
My mom was the most magnificent cook. When I was young, I'd just eat and eat and eat and eat and eat, and I'd burn it off. I had a lot of energy. Gosh, I ate so much, I couldn't believe it. But I've never been on a diet in my life. That's why Equal is so super. I mean, you just put a little of it in your tea or your coffee. Equal really tastes great. It tastes just like natural sugar.
Sugar has calories, Sweet and Low has saccharin, Equal has neither.
Sure, I'm doing it right.
Chances are it will outlast your car and your furnace and your roof. There's no telling what your Moen faucet might outlast. Moen. Buy it for looks. Buy it for life.
For immediate release, former divisions of AT&T communications experts going freelance after 125 years. Bell Labs coming with us. Available now. Lucent Technologies. We make the things that make communications work.
Sea Spot. Sea Scott's Patchmaster. Seed, fertilizer, and mulch all in one. Sea Spot. Disappear. See how easy a spotless lawn can be when you've got the Scott's difference.
Relax. Take your shoes off.
I'm more comfortable like this.
Really?
Well,
millions of people suffer from toenail fungus, thick, brittle yellow nails.
You have no idea what's bothering me.
Oh, I've been in your shoes. You can do something about toenail fungus. Talk to your doctor or call 1-800-NAILS-90.
For info?
Uh-huh. About new treatments.
So I should talk with my doctor.
Or call 1-800-NAILS-90.
We're soulmates.
From Janssen Pharmaceutica, world leader in antifungal research.
Saturday on Today, the do's and don'ts for buying or selling your home. Plus, behind the scenes of James and the Giant Peach. See what a difference Today makes Saturday.
Was this woman murdered for profit? Ask her daughter.
The facts speak for themselves.
You can help her catch the killer. All new Unsolved Mysteries, NBC Tonight.
Just 3 days before that big IRS deadline, and tonight, the First Family has released its tax returns. The President and Mrs. Clinton earned a little more than $316,000 last year and paid $75,437 in federal income tax. A big chunk of their reported income came in the rising value of stock that they have in a blind trust. On Wall Street today, the Dow was up in very heavy trading. The NASDAQ was up as well. Hardly enough to make up for the beating that the markets took earlier in the week. The Dow finished the week down 150 points. NASDAQ was down 17 points. Time now for NBC News Online, beyond the day's headlines. Think of all the battles going on with the tobacco industry these days. Are they a new phenomenon? Well, California historian John Epplett would beg to differ. He uncovered a letter to the Chicago Tribune from a self-proclaimed ex-smoker railing about smoking on streetcars, which read in part, "What is more disgusting to a decent nose than to be inhaling the horrible odor of a 5-cent cigar or the worst stench of a stale pipe?" That letter appeared August 24th, 1876, 120 years ago. And what should you get your husband for his 49th birthday when your husband is a high-profile member of Congress? A nice tie? Political novel? Oh, what about a pair of inline skates? That's just what House Majority Whip Tom DeLay's wife gave him, and as soon as he strapped them on, down he went. Now he's nursing a broken leg. Next year, maybe some outriggers for the skates. I'll be back with more news in a moment.
Pedigree Little Champions is perfect for my little champions. They like how it tastes and they're thriving on it.
Dr. Christine Dresser, veterinarian and top breeder of champion pugs.
Small dogs deserve special food.
Digestibility is very important. Pedigree Little Champions comes in a wide variety of flavors, and all the beef in Little Champions has gone through the USDA inspection process. The proteins contained are high quality, and they're the building blocks for good nutrition.
They like good food, just like their mom does.
Pedigree, developed with vets, recommended by top breeders.
Raymond, you look constipated.
Here we go.
You should take Phillips milk of magnesia.
Says who?
For gentle overnight relief, doctors say they take Phillips milk of magnesia most. Raymond.
Told you.
Phillips, doctors know best.
Before you take another Tylenol, you should know what these clinical studies prove. On tough headache pain, Advil works better than extra-strength Tylenol. On day after muscle pain, again, Advil works better than Tylenol. Even on pain following dental surgery, Advil works better. Clinical after clinical shows on tough pain, 2 Advil work better than any 2 extra-strength Tylenol. Over 30 million people trust Advil to safely relieve pain. Ask your doctor. Advil just works better.
Goodyear revolutionized wet traction design with AquaTread. Now, Goodyear introduces InfiniTread, the first tire with a lifetime tread life warranty. The new all-season InfiniTread. Its tread is guaranteed for as long as you own your car. Call 1-800-GOODYEAR.
Welcome to a place where a quiet moment fuels great thoughts, where the coffee stirs the conversation, and the steamiest moments are found in a cup. It's not a coffee house. It's a place called home. Introducing Italian Espresso Roast from Maxwell House. Coffee house coffee you can brew in your regular coffee maker. Deep, intense, but not bitter. It's the first coffee house coffee that's good to the last drop.
Critics are calling it a superb documentary, emotional, powerful, a touching hour. Bill Moyers goes home to Oklahoma City 1 year later. Dateline tonight on NBC.
It's Friday, time for what we're calling the American Dream, the people who fulfill it and make us all a little better for their dreams. Tonight, a man who died this week at the age of 81, a religious man with a designer's eye and the financial courage of his convictions. In his dreams, he saw the past and the future simultaneously. Think American hero. And real estate developer is not the first description that comes to mind. But then you may not have heard of James Rouse, a man who reinvented towns and showed cities how to reverse the aging process. In the early 1970s, it was James Rouse who saw beauty and vitality in abandoned 19th century buildings in Boston. His dream became Faneuil Hall. He called it a festival marketplace.
This is a beautiful day. You're wonderful people. This is a great market, and we're about to put all of that together.
Faneuil Hall was an instant success despite early pessimism.
I think this is what Boston really needed. I can see it now, really see it.
Rouse followed it with Harbor Place in Baltimore, the South Street Seaport in New York City, and Atlanta's Underground. He gave new life to urban neighborhoods, which in turn lifted whole cities.
He moved away from urban renewal in the rip it all down and start with a clean slate sense, more and more toward a kind of renewal that kept the best of our cities and just helped them.
As a developer, Rouse made millions the conventional way, financing homes and apartments and building some of the first shopping malls, yet he always insisted money was not his main motive. In the late 1960s, Rouse wanted to do something different, to build a better suburb where planning, architecture, and values would prevail.
We said to ourselves, gee whiz, this just doesn't have to be. There's got to be a better way for the growth of our cities than this.
The result was Columbia, Maryland, a new city between Washington and Baltimore. The idea was to create a more rational place, distinct neighborhoods within a city, self-contained, racially integrated. For the past decade and a half, Rouse concentrated on building affordable housing for America's poor through his Enterprise Foundation. He called it the most important work of his life. And for his work in shaping America, Rouse was honored last year with the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
He put the town square squarely back into America's urban life. He proved that we could reclaim and recreate our urban frontiers.
Today, Rouse was buried in his American dream, the community of Columbia, Maryland. And Rouse's family told us tonight that through his Enterprise Foundation, they are more committed than ever to carry on his dream of constructing affordable housing throughout America. That is Nightly News for Friday. Tonight on Dateline NBC, Bill Moyers returns to Oklahoma City nearly a year after the bombing. It's a special Dateline at 9, 8 Central Time tonight. The lessons learned by the people who were involved on the ground, lessons for all of us. I'm Tom Brokaw. Brian Williams will be here tomorrow night. I'll see you back here again on Monday. Have a good weekend.
The world is now watching the NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw. NBC News, now more than ever.
It's been a year since the bombing, but Washington hasn't passed an anti-terrorist bill. Why? We'll ask Congressman Barr and Schumer, also Attorney General Reno. If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press with Tim Russert.
All new NBC Tonight.
2 kids died. Drug dealers. There's a difference.
A cop looks the other way.
They shoot me, then finish each other off.
A community loses its faith in justice.
People can't trust the police, and we can't trust each other.
What if it was one of us? Shh. I am trying to find the truth about a murder.
Cops don't break the code of silence. Homicide NBC Tonight.
Join Gulston Dart and Nancy Francis tomorrow at 5, 6:30, and 11.
A 3-week-old manhunt for a sexual predator from